Hi everyone, good evening sa inyo lahat. I'm Jerry Ilaw, the co-founder of Olern, your e-learning platform for SMEs and also co-founder of Tarki automation tool for field employees. Welcome to day 6 ng ating Olern Live. Okay, we started this last week where we replay the videos, the talks that we had in the first ever Olern Virtual Business Summit last March 3 and 4. Yeah, and so for those who are watching now, please say hi and where you are in the chat box. Yeah, please say hi and where you are in the chat box. Now, let me introduce my partner and co-host, the chairman of AFFI and the founder of Retail Academy, also the director of Philippine Marketing Association, an OD consultant, Mr. Eric Caeg. Hi, Sir Eric.
Good evening, Sir Jerry, and good evening to all of our viewers tonight. It's our sixth.
Yes, day 6.
Day 6. So 14 more.
Yeah. So yan, please say hi and where are you from sa ating chat box. So nandito si Mai. Salamat Mai for watching. Yan.
Good evening,
Kumusta
Mais?
Sir Eric? You know, kanina...
Okay naman.
Sige.
Yeah, we're good. This morning we had a regarding technology as an enabler for business continuity plan, the PMA's online forum number 2. And thank you very much, Sir Jerry and Olern, for being the platform for PMA.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, for those of you who haven't watched the second online forum of PMA, yan, available pa po yan sa PMA Facebook page as well as dito sa Olern Facebook page. Yan. Pinag-usapan kanina, technology as an enabler for business continuity. Yeah.
At maraming, maraming nag-message na marami silang natutunan.
Yes. That's good. That's good. You know, Sir Eric, kanina we went to the grocery and sobrang haba po ng pila. We waited for more than 2 hours outside. Yon, just to get in. Tapos, yun, madaming tao talaga. So, I hope dun sa mga nanonood sa atin, I hope may stock kayo ng grocery din. Yan, mahirap mag-grocery ngayon kasi sobrang haba talaga ng pila.
Opo. So, ingat lang po tayo pagka tayo lumalabas at alam natin na we're still in the community quarantine period where it's still very sensitive and delicate to go out of the home. That's why andito naman tayo, Sir Jerry, and providing learning sessions for those who are interested. Sabi nga natin, while everybody have more extra time, one thing that they can do is learn, and what we provide are free learning sessions.
Yes. And pasalamatan muna natin yung partners natin. Of course, yung
Sige.
virtual business summit natin that was held last March 3 and 4. Thank you so much sa co-presenter natin sa Union Bank Global Linker. Ayan. Tapos, advocacy partners natin si
Global
AFFI, Go
Linker.
Negosyo, Philippine Marketing Association, Philippine Retail Association, Let's Eat Pare, Institute of Management Accountants of the Philippines, Retail Academy, Lipreneur, and of course, Tarkey. Yan. For those of you who have field employees na yan, gusto nyo ma-monitor or kaya gusto nyo i-digitize yung mga forms nyo, whatever forms, yan, you can use Tarkey. Alam nyo, Sir Eric, maraming mga nag-inquire sa amin ngayon because dahil sa work from home, gusto nila, kumbaga, efficient yung time in, time out ng mga tao. Tapos may mga iba din na nag-ooperate pa rin. May mga field employees pa rin. So they want to, kumbaga, manage and monitor their field employees. Ayan. So, ano pag-uusapan natin, Sir Eric?
Very effective. Okay, tonight we're gonna talk about one segment na sikat ngayon, no? One generation that has come to the popularity globally, and we're gonna share with you some tips on how to effectively manage them, courtesy of the lecture from Mr. Michael McQueen, and I'm gonna interpret them slide by slide. So I can also give you some from the survey that the millennials within my environment.
Yan, okay. So, in nga yan, pinag-uusapan paano i-manage ang millennials. And lalo na ngayon siguro, no? So, I think yung pag-uusapan natin mamaya, I don't want to preempt it.
Yes. Sige.
Yun, let's hear the presentation. Yes.
Yes.
Sige, so
play
we'll play the presentation of Sir Eric that was done during the first ever Olern Virtual Business Summit last March 3 and 4. So i-play po namin yan.
Yes.
March 4, yes. I-play po namin yan so that you can hear it. And then afterwards, we'll be back to answer your questions. Okay? So wag kayong aalis because yan, we'll be entertaining your questions. Okay? So let's allow me, let me just load the presentation of Sir Eric. Yan. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's hear the presentation of Sir Eric about how to effectively manage millennials.
My name is Eric, and I'm here to discuss with you 7 tips from Michael McQueen's Managing Millennials. First, we need to understand who are they. Millennials are our children, the children of people like me in Generation X, who are nearing seniors. The millennials are the people born from 1981 to 1996. These young people are agile, they move a lot, they're tech savvy, they love technology, they're great networkers, and they mingle a lot. At the workplace, they love mobility. Unfortunately, study shows that millennials stay an average of 2.6 years at the workplace. Yesterday, I'm going to give you an insight from what I read in the newspaper. And it says there that in the global economy, nearly 40% of the workforce will be occupied by the millennials. Let me share with you Mr. McQueen's 7 tips on how to manage and why we should manage them in the first place. Firstly, millennials look for a relationship before getting into the role. So they want their leaders to show authenticity and build trust before they gain the following of these leaders. So there's that saying that I don't care how much you know, but it's important for me on how you make me feel. So in the workplace, They're very casual, they're not too formal versus their previous generation. Tip number two, millennials should be kept challenged. They love challenge, they love continuing education, opportunities for growth. Okay? But there are certain leaders who are afraid of investing in them. But for leaders who are, let me remind you with this. There's a big difference between training your people and them leaving versus not training them and yet they will stay. So, 'di ba? Mas mahirap mag-stay yung mga tao mo pero hindi mo sila dinidevelop. So, millennials, don't be afraid of training them. Tip number 3, make the workplace flexible for the millennials. If you've seen some pictures of the Google office, Apple, Facebook, these tech companies have adapted to the environment for which millennials can thrive. Actually, here in the Philippines, there are already offices that cater to um, a home like a friendly type of environment, not too much on the previous setup wherein you'll have desks and computers. Today, the workplace looks like a a simple get together place, but they're working seriously. So even the way we structure our company, even the way we do deadlines, millennials are a bit adaptive to a fluid type of structure. So not like before, where it's really upfront boss and uh, staff relationship. This one, millennials are very open to a fluid structure. Next tip: millennials want positive feedback from their superiors. Okay, they need praise and validation because remember, they grew up in an era where they were accustomed to being recognized. They're accustomed to making them feel special. As parents, we were actually making them feel special and boosting up their self-esteem. So, what do you expect when they get to the workplace? Okay, they would look forward to the same thing. That's why older generation at the workplace have a hard time um, understanding them, just because the mindset of the seniors are still towards how they have grown up and how they have introduced themselves to the workplace. But millennials, they're different. Tip number 5, embrace their ideas. They come to the workplace with bold ideas, with questions like, why are things done this way? So sometimes we get to see it as arrogance. We see them as quite aggressive. But let's just be honest in answering things and don't make it a threat towards us when they get to ask us questions. They're just accustomed to knowing a lot just because information is always readily available to them through technology. Tip number 6, millennials are values driven. Study shows that 50% of millennials will forgo higher pay in exchange for a company that values their being, a company that has good sets of values, and it matches their own. So while pay is important, it's very important also for the millennials to feel comfortable with what they believe in. Tip number 7, adopt the role of a coach. Here, the seniors need to provide the wisdom and experience that they've already gained towards the years. But then again, somehow with the knowledge and information that the millennials have, they need the guidance and they need mentors. So the challenge is on the seniors to be able to allow the millennials to blend in that culture where they come together and share knowledge and information. So don't be afraid. Talk to them and engage them. While I've shared with you 7 tips, I'd like to share with you some actual insights from actual millennials and Generation C members on how they would answer certain questions. So I've interviewed a conglomerate of cousins. So when I say conglomerate of cousins, these young people are actually related to one another. First, we have the achiever mom, Anna. who is 31 years old. She graduated with BA in Indonesia and speaks Bahasa very well. She's a working mom, she has two kids, and very successful at her work. She's actually employed in one of the largest multinational firm in the Philippines. And, with her achievement, uh, she was able to build a new home for her family and transferred there in January 2018. So, Anna, with her work, she's very dedicated. And in account management, she says relationship skills are key in achieving my KPI targets. Next respondent is Raymond. Raymond is also 31 years old. He's a sales manager for the number one soft drink brand. This is his third, or I think probably fourth company already. And Raymond loves to take on challenges. He's very good into managing people, especially the field people. And for a young guy like him, you'll be surprised how he was able to maneuver the success of his career. Actually, because of that success, Raymond now owns two condominiums, one in BGC and the other one in Rockwell, the Grove in Pasig. And take note, this young guy already drives his own BMW. And at work, Raymond would always say account management is easier than trade marketing. So I've actually interviewed them on certain challenges at their work. Okay. And they're advising people on how to be successful when they get to enter the workforce. Next, we have a respondent, and his name is Enrique. Enrique is 25 years old, and he's on his first job. He's actually on his third year and working for a multinational fuel company. His work as a product scheduler for this fuel company is very toxic because his schedule deprives him of Saturday and Sunday. So his day off is actually weekdays. But then again, being a millennial himself, it doesn't bother him like previous generation who requires a Saturday and Sunday rest days. So here, Enrique is a certified Six Sigma Yellow Belt, and he's looking forward to completing his Six Sigma certification. And mind you, this guy has love and what you call that admiration to the K-pop culture. And he once said, the school world is very much different from the real world. So this is what it really looks like. So on his third year, he's beginning to have the grasp of how challenging work is. Okay. Then we have a lady, two ladies who are coming after the millennials. I'm discussing Gen Z for us to be able to learn what's next after the millennials. And now that they're in the workforce, we are actually seeing three generations of people, of workers in the company. So we have the boomers, the millennials, and here now a quick snapshot of two Gen Zs. So Precious is 22 years old. She's an HR partner in a financial institution in BGC. She had an opportunity to study tour in New York and Washington, D.C. 2 years ago. Actually, today, she's actually surfing in Siargao. Okay. And when we asked her, how was work? And Precious said, work is great. I'm able to do what I'm trained, although it's really very difficult when you get to the corporate world because sometimes you get to wear what you're not used to wearing, like heels. But she's very excited to work. Next, we have Joey. Joey just recently entered the workforce and she's going on her 6th month. She loves her job and she works for a famous shopping platform here in the country. Now, let's try to see their answers to 5 questions that I've asked them. First, my question was, what motivates you at work? Raymond said, no, Anna said, people with winning attitude, positive working environment, and promising career. While Raymond said, learning and challenge, people who strive to be the best in their roles. Enrique said, knowing the bigger picture that my job is able to help a lot of people. Okay. And Precious, learning from good teammates and working with coworkers from other departments. While Joey said, enjoying my job, meeting new people. So you will see there'll be certain answers of these individuals that may go quite differently from how, in general, millennials are described. So it will still be a case to case on how certain millennials are actually experiencing reality or things at work. Okay? So different challenges versus what they are really known for. Next, I asked them, how do you relate to senior workers? So obviously, since they're young, they're less than 10, 15 years in the company. So seniors are still there above them, either their bosses or their senior managers. Patricia said, I'm open minded. I listen to what they say. Ian said, I respect them. I acknowledge their wisdom. I'm humble and I recognize their help towards the success of my career. Luis, on the other hand, said, I'm open to feedback and I get more insights from their experiences. And Precious said, uh, positive, I'm positive and I'm respectful, I'm professional, especially in following policies and rules. Because remember, Precious is a HR partner, and sometimes when she has to take on the seniors, you just have to be professional in the approach. Next, Joey said, I converse and enjoy learning new things from my seniors. So it's not really true that while millennials are open minded and full of information and quite aggressive, they still have that silhouette of respect towards seniors at the workplace. Next question. What do you consider important in your life today? Anna said, I'd like to provide the best quality of life to my family and career, eh, to my family and see my career progress very well. Raymond said, it's important that management sees that confidence and trust in me. I have the autonomy to execute my plans, and thereby there will be opportunities to improve my career moving forward. Enrique, on the other hand, said work-life integration. So here we see one common description for most millennials. It's not work-life balance anymore. It's work-life integration. It's like when they're working, it's their actual, you know, personal life embedded at the workplace. Okay. Precious, on the other hand, said, um, what's important to me today is how to develop my skills and move my career forward. Okay. And Joey said, I'd like to save up, make baby steps, and set my bigger goals and accomplish them. So you'll see people at this stage are actually more conscious. They're aware of where they want to go versus probably the generation before them where people would get to be creating their families below 30 years of age. Now you're seeing marrying age above 30 years old. Thus, this is the reason. And their answers are on the screen, and you're seeing that they're more preparing for professional goals before setting up their personal goals. Next, I asked them, what are your struggles at work? Anna said, corporate dynamics. And since our company has acquired another company, there's some transition changes and new adjustments to be made since there's a company merger. And we asked Raymond, and he said, proving myself to upper management. Because somehow, every time Raymond is given a new job, a new challenge, uh, his KPIs or key performance indicators are entrenched or changed. Thus, he has to show them na kaya niyang abutin ang kanyang mga targets. While Enrique is a multitasker, and he said, many workloads that I do every day that almost everything needs urgency. So at the workplace, this is what we call the Russians. No? It's always rush, rush every day. Okay. Well, Peso said, there's still traditional practices in the workplace that I'm really struggling to deal with because I really hope there'll be certain things to expedite things, to be able to accomplish with quick approvals or feedback from my higher ups. While Joey, on the other hand, said, it's pushing for 100% effort. That's because she's wanting to prove that because she's earlier in the game. She's 6 months in the company, and there are many ad hoc works that needs to be done. Okay, so when you look at the answers of these young people, they're grouping in terms of the old dynamics of which the previous generation would say office politics. So the millennials and Gen Zs are not into office politics. They're into performance. They're into camaraderie. They're into looking at work as part of their life, and they want to enjoy it. They don't want to deal with so much of these intrigues and controversies at the workplace. And here you're going to see new formation of culture when you get to blend the old and the new individuals at work, represented by the answers of our respondents here. So I asked them, what's the future? What lies ahead? And Anna said, oh, I'd like to become a national sales manager soon. So Anna, being an account manager for strategic accounts, is looking forward to the top level post, which is already going to be an executive position. So here we're looking at millennials beginning to occupy executive roles. And she also said, actually, that's not written there, a cross-country position, probably being an expat somewhere. While Raymond said, I'd like to head new pilot projects. So here, Raymond is not stopping. He's looking for bigger challenges, bigger roles, bigger uh, area to cover in terms of sales territory that he's handling. Okay, and Raymond is not the type of person who would, just be happy with his achievements and thereby moving forward to larger scales. Enrique, on the other hand, while doing his product scheduling work, is still looking for the best department that he would grow in. Much as I actually congratulate him because he already surpassed the 2.6 average year of a millennial. Okay? Because he's already gone past 3 years. Okay? But still, there's that soul searching for our respondent Enrique. For Precious, she actually mentioned, I want to study, take my masteral that will allow me to go back to work and be able to progress my profession. So here we see an individual who takes professional development seriously, and she actually knows the pathway towards moving up the ladder towards her work. Joey, on the other hand, being new in the corporate world, is still finding out what she really wants. But then again, we are confident when she does, she'll be able to make that roadmap to be able to achieve the goal that she'll be able to set. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Five young people uh, getting their insights, the conglomerate of cousins, and if I have to be happy about this, these people are actually my nephews and nieces, my son, and my daughter. Now, I will not move the slide, but then again, moving forward to what I do today in organizational development, I see the millennials of today, especially in the family businesses, are very educated, very eager to show what they can do. Unfortunately, their leaders are still stuck on the old conventional way of managing things, and they're still afraid to give the baton the second or third generation. It's always been my advice to the young ones. Number one, keep the respect to your seniors. Your time will come, but while waiting for that time, they have to show that level of competence so that the confidence of the seniors will grow and go higher towards that right time of getting the right authority and role that the millennials or the next generation are wanting to get into. Okay? So sometimes masyado silang ganado, masyado nagmamadali. So we are actually training them to be good at the future post that they're going to occupy and experience all the challenges that they can. while they are in the middle management. You know, for most who are into the family businesses, this is the common scenario that we are seeing on a daily basis. And it's not rare to the Philippines, it's actually happening globally. So somehow our advice to the seniors as well, give them a chance, understand them, give them that wisdom, and make that kite principle. Kite principle. We've learned this from my partner that the millennials, they'll be moving on. They'll be flying like kites, but kites fly, and that string you get to let go while they go up and higher. So these millennials will need the same uh, guidance and the same motivation from the seniors ahead. So, how does the workplace look like within the next couple of years? Well, for most of us who'll be nearing retirement, probably we'll still do some mentoring towards them, but you will be seeing more young people getting into that position of authority and position where they will be heading companies, position where they will be leading a lot of people. And somehow, what's important is a good transition, a good succession planning for most who are into people development. We are now actually into the succession planning of roles so that the company will be able to move on during the change and transition of hands. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We, we have presented to you some tips on how to effectively manage the larger part of the workforce now called millennials. So I hope you were able to get good insights from this and that we will see you on the next subject.
Yan, Sir Eric. Very nice presentation.
Thank you, Sir Jerry. Okay. Sir Jerry, I'd like to add, no, before we go to the
Mm-mm.
Q&A, actually, I revisited two of those respondents and I asked them some questions related to what we're experiencing today
Yes.
regarding the community quarantine. So allow me lang to read no, the answers that they gave. No? Number one, I asked Ana, kinamusta ko eh. So sabi ko, what did you feel upon learning about the community quarantine for the first time last March 12? Ang sagot ni Ana, sabi niya, I was not really surprised because our company has implemented it 2 days earlier. So
Mm.
here, we're looking at the multinational company able to kumbaga, make advance foresight on what's going to happen, and they were able to kumbaga, protect their employees already. And next question I gave was how did you adjust to the stay home policy? And she answered, it was bearable because me and my family has started preparing 2 weeks before the community quarantine. Home office in my bedroom where I would lock myself inside it 8 to 5 p.m. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So kumbaga talagang well prepared siya to the work from home environment. No? So 2 weeks before the announcement, they were already preparing themselves, not only mindset-wise, pero physically. Okay? Then I asked her, how did work from home apply to you? Sabi niya, because she's in sales or account management, sabi niya, I monitor orders, deliveries, trade partner concerns, and merchandisers using my mobile phone and laptop. So again, just like what we learned this morning, no, in using technology to enable to continue business. So they're already using technology on during this community quarantine period. What are the new things that you have done while staying at home? So, and sabi ko, what are the positives and the negatives of staying at home for 1 month straight? So sabi niya, since our plant online, sabi niya, he has another business actually, which is, he sells these small plants. Sabi niya, my online business is not currently operational. We immediately transitioned to food delivery business where we sell home cooked food items through our Village Viber group. Okay. At times like this, we need to be quick and more proactive and progressive. My husband is in real estate industry and it's close to impossible that people will be investing today. Thus, sabi niya, our family needs to find ways how to earn extra income. Okay? Then sabi niya, positive, more time with family, everyone becomes prayerful. We started counting on our blessings, though sometimes it's really uh, getting into me, the anxiety and the uncertainty. But then again, they have that entrepreneurial spirit as well of doing uh, some initiatives to make side money while they're staying at home. No? I failed to mention because her husband is actually a chef. So, doon sa mga tanong sa atin kanina umaga or the last forums, ano ba pwedeng gawin ng mga kasama natin na maliit na negosyo from home? So, here, Anna was telling us what they did, no? And I'll share with you another respondent, and she's pretty young. And tingnan natin kung gaano kakaibahan from a mother of two to a single person. So, ang sabi ni Precious, so what did you feel about learning the quarantine on May 12? Sabi niya, anxiety and uncertainty for what's the lockdown going to be, no? Kasi first time, no? So, surely everyone actually felt the same way. And it's not different from young people like her. And sabi niya, yung stay-at-home policy, not much adjustment as I've been staying at home a lot during weekends. Quickly adapted to the family schedule and being the one in charge of handling the kitchen. So ito, no, getting herself acquainted with the kitchen work like cooking. So it took out some of that anxiety and fear, and she was able to focus on serving her family. So how did the work from home apply? And she said it doesn't apply to me because our operation as a team wasn't really considered as critical to the business continuity other than payroll, because he belongs to the HR department and somehow the other angles of HR would have to be put on hold. So some positives and negatives, just like what she said earlier, she literally took charge of the kitchen. So she's the kitchen queen now. So she said she's actually called the chef at home. So while everyone was busy working at home, I'm the one taking care of them. So the negatives, well, it's always getting to think about what's the rest in the future. What I want to do for my future. So pretty much still aligned to her answers during our first survey. So Sir Jerry, ito yung mga insights ng ating respondents. Very interesting. No?
Yes, very interesting. Si si Yayo said na watching from Valenzuela daw, I'm always watching you to learn more. Yan. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Yayo.
Yayo. And also si Broker, sabi niya, most millennials daw handle situations calmly though under pressure. They're very flexible.
Yes.
Yan. Sir Eric, may tanong ako. Kasi you mentioned about the different generations ngayon, no, sa company. So boomers,
Yes.
millennials, saka now Gen Z
The
is
Gen
coming
Z.
in. Yes.
Yes.
How do you handle yung mga yung generation gaps in different mindsets, etc. If you have the three generations in your
Well,
organization.
I am actually handling one company today that has, I would like to believe, not only three, pero merong four generations. Yung medyo, nandun pa yung medyo mas ma-edad, no? We're going towards 70 years old. So, one baseline is the word respect, okay? Because whether you're looking at it from an older person's perspective looking at the young ones, or the young ones looking at the older persons in the company, the baseline is the same. It's actually respect from the coworker. Next, they may differ in terms of habits, they may differ in terms of attitude, and probably knowledge. But then again, there's also another baseline that they should observe at the workplace. They work for a common goal. So the common goal is
Tama.
to achieve the company's targets, the company's vision, uh, play or work around the same culture that they are into. So, regardless of age, regardless of generation, these two basic foundations, when they get to observe it, things would be less difficult. You know, I always use this. It's not going to be easy, but you can make it less difficult. So
Mm,
somehow,
mm,
other ingredients will come to play when the baseline of respect and remembering that you're working for the same company. The other
mm,
operational words are number one, communication. Okay? When the communication is clear and there's a clear pathway to both sides, I don't see any problem that generational gap will be an issue to becoming effective. I remember probably this was like 15 years ago. No, 2005. Yeah, 15 years ago. I was working actually with someone who was probably 25 years ahead of me, and we're both in the same department. You know, initially there were things to be adjusted, but apparently after working with the same person for almost 4 years, we became very good friends. And
mhm.
somehow, remembering him today, I'll be quite sentimental because he just went to our Lord recently. So you see, it doesn't become a hindrance. I myself, when I was a bit younger, my bosses were like 20 years ahead of me, and up to today, we get to have that special bond, beyond the superior and subordinate already. So the only differences that would come out just because the millennials were kind of hype in terms of a generation, just
Mhm.
because they grew up with technology. Because remember,
Okay.
their parents would probably, the parents of the millennials today would probably be between the age of probably late 40s to late 50s or early 60s.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we are the
Mhm.
generation wherein, when we were younger, the only thing we need to do is the word comply, or whatever our parents would tell us, If you have certain things that you want to disagree with, you just have to keep quiet, you know. And because of that norm, most people within our generation and the previous generation pretty much somewhat, hindi ko nilalahat, they have that sense of inferior feeling about themselves. For short, confidence build up needs to be upgraded, especially when you get to the workplace, no. Pero itong millennials kasi different because when we raised them, dahil nga iba yung pakiramdam natin nung lumaki tayo, we wanted to make sure that they're acknowledged, that they feel valued, that they feel important. So, giving it to them for the next 20 years of their lives, so doon sila sanay, di ba? So pagpasok nila sa workplace, plus all of the information and the knowledge that they have achieved even outside
Mhm.
school and outside home. Sabi nga, no, when they grew up with the internet made them experts without the presence of parents and teachers. Right? So,
Yeah,
pagdating
agree.
nga sa workplace, they carry so much knowledge, they carry so much confidence. That's why sometimes they're misunderstood. Like,
Mhm.
ang
Mhm.
dating ng mga bata, mayabang, ang dating ng mga
Mm.
bata, gustong
Know
unahan
it
yung
all.
matatanda.
Yeah.
Pero hindi ganoon 'yun eh. Kumbaga, lumaki sila na tinalaki natin silang mataas ang self-esteem. 'Yun ang sinasabi ni
Mhm.
Mr. McQueen earlier. We brought them up with so much self-esteem, and in the workplace, that should continue. Dapat 'yun
Mhm.
ma-acknowledge din. Kasi otherwise,
Mhm.
they'll show a different attitude. You
Mhm.
see?
Mhm.
So somehow, dapat yung mga nasa workplace, kailangan i-align nyo rin to
Mhm.
see, coming from home and going towards the workplace, what are the different adjustments that the seniors will have to make. And now we're
Mhm.
looking at the early millennials who were born between 81 to 85, probably are getting towards senior manager roles
Yeah.
now, close to AVP,
Yeah.
and you'll be surprised. You'll be
Mm-hmm.
surprised. The reason why I actually presented the conglomerate of cousins because they're actually mavericks of their own. And when I said in the video that I confessed that they're actually my nephews and nieces, and my children actually, I'm very much proud of them just because what they have achieved in less than 10 years, we actually achieved close to 15 to 20. You see, so
Okay. Yeah.
pretty much they're ahead of their time. Their achievement
Mm-hmm.
is,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much fantastic. But then again, something different from our generation to theirs is that uh, between the conglomerate of cousins, isa pa lang yung married. Because the
Mm.
others have decided to take care of their career and building up
Okay.
their before during our generation in the 80s.
Okay.
You see, a lot of people would get married below 30. Ngayon, baliktad. No? A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people are getting
Yeah.
married after 30. So at the
Yeah.
workplace, there'll be different wants and needs. So the millennials,
Yeah.
they want to see how they can contribute and be able to rise up the ranks. So, yan
Yeah.
yung ano, in terms of managing hindi siya mahirap i-manage. You just have to understand the psychology of
Mm-hmm.
where they're coming from.
Okay, I see. I totally agree with you na yung baseline is respect. So I think yun, dapat ganon. And each one has their own, kumbaga, skills and contributions na pwedeng i-contribute sa company. I saw this funny, I think, meme na everyone hates millennials uh, until ano ba yun? They had to until you have to convert PDF to Word. So, natawa ako kasi
Yes.
apparently, yun nga, well, yung mga boomers or other generations would not know how to convert a PDF back to Word. Pero yung millennials,
Uh,
yan, ano yun nila, kayang-kaya. May sinasabi si Nessa, may effective title daw ba is Lead Millennials? I'm not sure what Lead Millennials is.
probably she's just commenting on our title on effective management or whether it's leading millennials or managing. And
Okay, okay.
if I have to comment on that, pretty much going to be the same because when we're working with them in the workplace, no, either it's a family business or a corporation, the dynamics are the same. Okay. On how to lead millennials, simple. Be the best example to them. Okay. Because
Okay.
pretty much you cannot really bombard them with what they know because they're carrying a lot of information with them when they get to the workplace. So what they need is someone to look up to as a good example at the workplace. Okay. And for them to be able to, you know, use their talent effectively.
Okay. Sabi ni Glo, what's your take daw on working with millennials who could be your children or nieces or nephews?
What's my take? If I could just afford their salaries, I'd like everyone to be on board because they're so talented. The problem is probably I should earn so many millions in a month to be able to afford their salaries. So my take
Okay.
is yes, by all means, if they can come. If we can,
So, okay.
kung kakayanin, di ba, bakit hindi?
Yeah, so okay daw, Glo. I have another question. You mentioned about work-life integration kanina
Yes.
in passing. How do you do that for SMEs? Paano
Well, ganito
ba
eh.
siya? Yeah.
When the generation of millennials said, hindi lang work-life balance, kung hindi work-life integration. So, when you
Mm-mm.
said work-life integration, nandun sila sa work and it's seamless. There's a very thin line between actually identifying themselves in a formal workplace. That's why
Mm-mm.
kanina sinabi ni Mr. McQueen, you have to be adaptive to them even in terms of physical environment. That's why when you saw that example from the Silicon Valley offices na hindi siya mukhang opisina, di ba? Yung mukha lang siyang cafe, mukha lang siyang uh, hindi ko masabing playground,
Yeah.
pero it's less formal, di ba? So you get to activate them in a special way that's very different from the environment before, where you have desks, chairs, and I started before with the typewriter. And ngayon hindi na, di ba? In our BPOs, you understand that they have their own, they have their own area for a gym. They have an area for a
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can
Uh,
shower there. They can rest
yeah.
there. They can sleep. Di ba? So, kumbaga, it's like bringing home to the workplace. So,
I
yun
see.
yung enablers eh. Those are the enablers.
Mhm.
Now, for SMEs, hindi naman kayang gawin ni SME na maglagay ng isang kwarto gawing bilyaran, di ba? Pero
Yeah.
it's in the environment, it's in the culture that they can actually do this to make it
Mm.
less, kumbaga, less suffocating to the millennials.
Okay. Got it. Sabi ni broker, millennials now are great contributors to the workforce nowadays. So I love working with them. That's great, broker. Yeah. Um, yan, sabi ni Ness, thank you. Okay. Sir Eric, what else? I have the, many people, siguro last question ko na to since magna 9 o'clock na, we're running out of time.
It's okay.
Yung,
Ang bilis.
yung isang, oo nga eh, yung question ko isa, many people say na yung millennials daw are, ano ba, parang hoppers.
Okay.
So parang they hop from one job to another. What do you think is the reason why ganon? Or is that true in the first place?
Well, my answer is yes and no. Number one, they're looking for purpose and meaning. It's not only about the job, it's not only about the money. So somehow they want to see a certain fit between what they value and what's the vision of the company. And sometimes in the workplace, it doesn't appear immediately within 6 months or 1 year. That's why in the study of Mr. McQueen, it goes around something like 2.6 months. But then again, there are certain millennials who are actually more than 3 years at the work. So, kaya ko sinabi kanina in interpreting Mr. McQueen's slides, it really depends on the reality of the millennial worker. Because if the company is an enabler, meaning pwedeng mag-thrive si employee, no, na millennial in the company, makita yung values, makita niya may future,
Mm-mm.
it
Mm-mm.
serves all of the needs of the employee, no, walang rason para hindi magtagal eh. Pero just because the millennials are quick to identify that this is not for me, and unlike 20, 30 years ago where jobs are kind of limited, ngayon kasi they can take on any job. They can take on a BPO job where it's
Mm.
midnight shift, and they could get a day job afterwards, no? Resigning from uh, a graveyard shift, they go to another job, iba na naman, no? Mabilis sila. That's the reason why sinabi doon sa study ni Mr. McQueen, on an average 2.6. That's why in my experience with my conglomerate of cousins and even my children, I'm happy to say that they're actually staying longer than what the study showed. Just because they're fortunate enough
Mm.
to be able to enter to companies that takes care of them.
Mm.
Hindi lang ito
Okay,
ano,
I see.
hindi lang ito pera. Pag sinabi kong that takes care of them, my children are now working at home, and one of them literally sabi ng boss niya, dalhin mo na yung gamit mo sa opisina para hindi ka mahirapan sa bahay. So practically the laptop, the monitor is here at home. So hindi ganun kahirap i-desisyonan nung superior, because if the superior
Mhm.
is a conventional minded person, hindi niya ipauwi yung assets ng company, kasi una isipin niya baka masira, baka mawala, baka may mangyari. Yun kasi yung mindset ng noon
Yeah.
eh. We protect
Yeah.
everything from the company, you see. So
Yeah.
again, it all depends on how we get to have that transition in terms of una mindset, because everything will come from the owner, especially if we're talking about SMEs, no? It will depend upon the owner's uh,
Mhm.
choice to
Mhm.
say, yeah, I'm gonna take in millennials, but I'm gonna adjust my way of thinking and deciding. For you, Sir Jerry, when I saw your when I saw your team, I was so happy to see that I believe most of your team are millennials also.
Yeah. Ako lang ang millennial.
Ikaw lang ang millennial, no? Feeling millennial, you know. Pero alam mo,
Yeah.
4 years ago, there was discussion in another forum. And a big question came about sa forum. And sinabi, is millennial a generation or a mindset? Now,
Ganda.
this quarantine period came about, and
Yeah.
that question will have to be answered today because it's leveling. It leveled where the tech savvy young people will be able to show the seniors, and this is how it's done. And for the senior
Yeah.
people, they have no chance. When we said earlier,
Yeah.
digital is the way to go, and they will really try their best to learn it because there's no way today, right?
Yeah.
For you to be number one, for you to be able to communicate. See, so
Yeah.
ako guilty rin ako. Remember when we started this in 2017, you were filming me, and I really had a difficult time looking at the camera, right? You remember that
Yeah, I
when we did
remember.
that 1 hour segment. But it has to take a toll on me that I have to decide and change my mindset. And yes, I think I have to teach to the camera now through your platform, and that's why we have this collaboration. So
Yeah.
somehow it has also to take one. It's not difficult, but it takes time to to really get that mindset transformed.
Yeah.
So yun, wala talagang pupuntahan kung hindi for our generation to accept na yeah, huli man at magaling, huli pa rin, pero mas maganda kaysa wala. Di ba?
Yes,
Kasi hindi
agree.
mo siya alam. Di ba?
Yeah.
So,
Um,
ayun.
yeah, shout out ko lang to si Yayo. Mako-cover lang tayo, mahaba yung message niya. But nonetheless, yan, sabi niya, nakinig daw siya kahapon. They had a milk tea shop, tapos lockdown. Tapos after listening, naisip niya, why don't she go online? And nag-try siya ng product na post yung milk tea. Tapos, yan, good news. Sales niya today is 14,800 in one
Wow,
day. So sabi niya,
congratulations.
thank
Sabi
you
ko sa
so
inyo,
much. I help you
it will
for
it will
helping
work.
her daw.
It
Ayan.
will work.
So, congrats,
Tumatakbo
Yayo.
pa rin po yung tumatakbo namin. So, shout out to my franchiser, Miss Joyce.
Yeah. Yun. So, grabe, ang bilis. 9 o'clock na. We said na
Oh,
yun.
bilis ng
Hindi
oras.
tayo lalagpas ng 9 o'clock
Yes, of
to
course.
give way
Thank you
for
very much.
the rosary. So, last word, Sir Eric.
Yes, so to everyone out there, please stay safe, stay at home. And if ever you have millennials with you at home, engage them. And this is the right time to really bond and strengthen that relationship. And if you have millennials at the workplace, yes, just do the same. Say hi to them, keep them valued, and show them that you care. And I hope everyone stays healthy and protected. And hope you enjoy our session tonight. This is our 6th day and we'll be having more to come. And Sir Jerry will explain. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Sir Jerry, maraming salamat.
Yan. So, thank you so much, Sir Eric, for sharing your wisdom. Si Sir Eric has been doing organizational development and HR
Yes.
consulting to a lot of companies. Kaya yung mga insights niya, I mean, grounded based on what is really happening, not based on books or theory. So, thank you so much, Sir Eric, for sharing your
Thank you as well.
expertise with us tonight.
Yes.
So yan, tatapos na natin ang 6th episode.
Ang hirap.
6th episode ng
Apat na lang.
Olern Live.
Hindi,
Yes.
labing lima na lang.
Yes. So
Remember,
for
this is
those of you,
21.
yes. For those of you who are watching, thank you so much for joining us, for being with us in through the different in this journey, the 21-day challenge ng Olern Live. So sabi nga ni Sir Eric, stay safe. Enjoy the weekend tomorrow. We'll be coming back on Monday, 8 p.m. same time. Monday.
Mag-day off muna.
Yeah, day off muna. So yan, maraming salamat ulit sa inyo. And yeah, see you on Monday, 8 p.m. So this is Jerry Ilaw, the co-founder of Olern and also of Tarki. Wishing you yan. Have a good night, everyone. Bye!
Bye. Happy weekend. Okay.
Happy weekend.
Shout out to everyone, to my family. Thank you, Sir Jerry.
Thank you, Sir Eric.